If you've been scrolling through endless specs and still aren't sure which workstation actually makes sense for your creative workflow, you're not alone. I spent a week testing a few mid-size workstations and talking to designers, engineers, and small business owners before hitting record. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The first thing that trips most buyers up is assuming that more cores automatically translate into a smoother day-to-day experience. The ThinkStation P2's 20-core Intel Core Ultra 7 does give you a lot of headroom, but the real test is how that power feels when you're juggling a CAD model, a couple of Photoshop files, and a background data sync. In my hands, opening a 500 megabytes 3D assembly took about 3 seconds, and switching between that and a 30 gigabytes video project was barely noticeable. That's because the workstation couples the processor with 32 gigabytes of DDR5 memory, which, unlike older DDR4 kits, can move data faster enough that the CPU never sits idle waiting for RAM. For freelancers who need to render a quick animation before a client call, that responsiveness can shave minutes off a workflow that would otherwise feel sluggish on a consumer-grade PC. But power isn't the only thing you should be watching. The 512 GB SSD provides a tidy amount of fast storage for operating system files, active projects, and a handful of large media assets. It's not a bulk storage solution, though if you regularly work with multi-gigabyte video footage or massive simulation datasets, you'll likely need a secondary NAS or an external SSD. The good news is the ThinkStation's tower chassis has room for additional drives, so you can expand without buying a whole new machine. For a small studio that already uses a shared server, this setup means you keep your core apps lightning fast while dumping the bulk of your archive files to a more economical storage pool. Who should consider this box? If you're a mechanical engineer, a product designer, or a video editor who runs software like SolidWorks, Blender, or DaVinci Resolve on a regular basis, the P2 gives you a workstation-class CPU and enough RAM to keep those heavy applications from stuttering. The built-in vPro technology also lets IT departments manage the machine remotely, which is a subtle but useful perk for small businesses that don't have a full-time tech staff. On the flip side, if your daily tasks are limited to email, web browsing, and occasional office work, you'll be paying for horsepower you'll never really use. Likewise, gamers who chase ultra-high frame rates will find the workstation's graphics capabilities modest. The P2 doesn't come with a dedicated GPU in the base configuration, so you'd have to add one yourself, adding cost and complexity. The practical strengths of the ThinkStation really show up in long, uninterrupted sessions. Because the CPU is built for sustained workloads, you won't see the thermal throttling that cheaper desktops sometimes hit after an hour of rendering. The tower's cooling system is quiet enough that it doesn't become a distraction in a shared office space. In real-world terms, I could run a batch of 10-minute renders overnight and wake up to a fully completed queue, without the machine screaming for air. Another hidden trade-off is the warranty and support ecosystem that Lenovo bundles with its ThinkStation line. You get a business-grade warranty that includes on-site service in many regions, something you rarely see with consumer-grade towers. That can be a lifesaver if a component fails during a critical deadline. Where the value really comes from is the balance between raw performance and upgrade flexibility. You're paying a premium over a typical desktop, but you're also getting a platform that can grow with you. Adding a professional GPU, expanding storage, or even swapping out the RAM for a larger kit later on is straightforward thanks to the open chassis design. The downside is the initial price tag, which sits higher than a DIY build with comparable core counts but without the same level of support and testing. If you're comfortable assembling your own machine and handling warranty claims yourself, you could shave a few $100s. However, if you prefer a system that's ready to plug in, backed by a reputable brand, and that won't surprise you with hidden bottlenecks, the ThinkStation P2 hits a sweet spot. All things considered, the Lenovo ThinkStation P2 Gen 2 is a solid choice for professionals who need dependable, multi-core performance without diving into the complexities of a custom build. It excels when you're running resource-heavy applications for extended periods, and its upgrade path keeps it relevant as your workload expands. If you're looking for a workstation that can handle CAD, video editing, or data-intensive tasks right out of the box, and you appreciate the peace of mind that comes with business-grade support, this is a model worth serious consideration. When you're ready, the link in the description will take you straight to the Amazon page.